Welcome to another Empath Empowerment Brief. I'm Kim Holman from 8 Hands Healing, and the holidays are nearing. And I wanted to share about obligations of love. Do we have somebody that we feel like we should buy a gift for? We really don't want to. Maybe we can't afford to, but we feel obligated to. And what about going to a party? Maybe a family party or a holiday party, and we just feel obligated to go, but really don't want to. So, how do we have boundaries with that? So, I thought it would be good to share a little bit about where those obligations of love come from, especially in a family. Now, this isn't as much with businesses like a holiday party, but there can be some other obligations there. So, this one's more focused on family. And I'm actually going to read from you to you from some information that I use in my Empath course. This is in the last 6 weeks of the course, and it's about family entanglements. So that's where those obligations of love come from. So family entanglements. So issues which we all struggle with in life are sometimes often not our own, and rather they result from an attempt on the part of the child acting out of love to resolve the family system issue. So this is done unconsciously. And so what I'm doing is bringing this to consciousness for us. And the result is that the child becomes entangled in and begins to live out the fate of the other or past family member. Sometimes they've already passed, and we're living that out. The resolution of this family entanglement requires that the responsibility be given back to that person, living or dead, to whom it belongs. So this work is based on Bert Hellinger. He created the family constellation. He did 7 generations of research in this tribe, I believe, and he passed after 7 generations. And so Bert didn't live long enough to do further research, and no one's picked up his research to find out if it would go beyond 7 generations. So a lot of us that do this work think that it goes well beyond 7 generations, but that's just as far as Bert lived. So his work is really great, and you can read his books about it and get a lot more detail. So this is just an overview so that we have an understanding of where these obligations of love come from. And I'm going to give you some examples. So when we create, we insist on having suffering contracts. We accept the obligations of love. Our contract becomes one of suffering. So living with the suffering obligations of love causes us to be completely SOL. And yes, I do mean shit out of luck. In terms of our access to our freedom, power, and change. The most common SOLs take forms like this. Dad, I will feel a heavy burden, so yours will be lighter. Mom, I will be your victim, so you won't have the pain of being somebody else's perpetrator. Dad, I will be a perpetrator like you, so you will be less guilty. Mom, I will be a better victim than you so that the perpetrators will choose me instead of you. Dad, I will be a victim like you so that it will seem like you had no other choice. So these are mechanisms by which abuse, addiction, and other suffering obligations of love get passed down through the generations. The strength of the pattern is of undesirable behavior is in direct proportion to the strength of love between children and their parents. So there's 3, that's a lot of information. Let's breathe. That's a lot. Some people are like, oh my God, I totally recognize that pattern. So breathe. Just take a nice breath and get back in your body. Feel your toes, wiggle your toes. So having this information is informative, and it will give you more choice in your life. Okay, so there's a little bit more. There are 3 unsaid rules operating in every family system. Family rules are rules that are unspoken, usually, that are put into place by either mom or dad or both. In addition to these standard human rules, there may be more specific variations on these themes that are unique to a particular family, but function in nearly the same way. As a real life example, you can only love one person at a time is such a rule. So children are compelled by both love and fear to belong with and honor their parents and their families of origin up to 7 years, because Bert Hellinger researched up to 7 years. This obligation to honor and belong with one's family is enforced neurologically. It is not dependent on or subject to any kind of rational override, right? So we can rationally go, I don't want to do this, and we don't know how to stop it, right? So there's no rational override. When we do the behavior that allows us to belong, we feel innocent. When we do the behavior that violates belonging, we feel guilty. There are no exceptions. When a child cannot heal the family, the child takes on the family's pain to help them, honor them, and be one of them. So they belong. All human beings become caught in entanglement of multiple overlapping, conflicting obligations or belonging. So again, this is going to give you choice. Okay, so here's the three rules. No one in this family will have a better experience of life than I have had or am having. Number two, no one in this family is going to have a better experience of themselves than I have of me. Number three, no one in this family is going to have a better experience of me than I have of me. So if you use the experience of guilt or innocence as your moral compass, you will live a life that confirms all the beliefs of the family system that you were born into. So this is a quote from Bert Hellinger from 1998. In a family of thieves, the child who will not steal has a guilty conscience because he doesn't belong. If the family steals and he doesn't belong or doesn't steal, then he doesn't belong in that family. So I want to say that if you feel like you're the chosen one to heal the family lineage and it's knocking you off your game and you're dealing with health issues or these family patterns, you're trying really hard to change them, but you're not living life and not being able to make your own choices, there is a way to release this information. So a little bit more I want to read. It could be family trauma, historical, generational, like epigenetic trauma. And you might be experiencing the physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritual symptoms, or having any kind of difficulty. You can choose to release it so it doesn't knock you off your daily game. There is no need to suffer like the others did. The target is to have the point of reference, fair witness in your mind and energy field, what didn't get witnessed for that person, right? Because if it's someone in a past generation, what didn't get witnessed for them, so that they can release it throughout all the generations, so that there's more choice and there's not that genetic pull, if you will. So it's I see it like the ancestors want you to know this information so that you can learn from their experiences, but not have to take on their stuff, right? But they want you to learn from it. So there's several people that do this work in the area that I live, within an hour. I do know some people that do the family constellation work. I did it every month for a year, and it was so enlightening to me, my family. My kids would actually feel the shift that took place when I did that work. So I give the basic information in my Empath course, and we look at these genetic things that got passed down through the DNA, and we recode, we change the awareness of it. So again, let's breathe. So A lot of information. So why am I bringing this to you in this empowerment brief? Because we're going into the holidays. So now you have the awareness that we all, every human, no one gets exempt from this. Every single human, you have to have the egg and the sperm to make a human. And every human comes from that genetic DNA. And so we all have this, even if you're adopted, you will have patterns that you are completely unconscious of. And you wonder, why am I acting this out? And I wasn't even raised by that genetic family, but it's in your DNA. So having this awareness, now you're going to go to those family events and you're going to be able to sit back and observe and go, whoa, oh my gosh, now I get where this is coming from. And then what do you do? Well, then you can have choice. Then you can say, do I want to participate in that pattern? Do I need to just bear witness for that? Do I need to name it? Maybe your sibling is noticing the similar thing. Usually siblings that go out of a family and they're like, I just don't even want to participate in this family anymore. They're seeing this stuff. This is what they're seeing. So if you see it, perhaps you can have boundaries with it and do something different, or at least be conscious if you want to participate in it. And if not, then do something different. So next Tuesday, I'm going to do a mini class and I'm going to have some of this information in there, as well as my brief for tomorrow is going to be about buyer's remorse. So on Tuesday, we're going to give more information on that. We're going to have some practice with the family. I can answer some questions about the family stuff. So in my mini class on Tuesday, you can see the details to sign up below. And I hope you guys have a great holiday. Thank you.